Hey everybody out there, my name is Dragnix, and this is going to be a little bit of a teaser video for you guys. Now, a lot of people have been asking me offline or online, basically off the social medias, but more so through Steam and things like that, what I plan on doing in the next couple of months. In particular, what games am I going to look at? And I figured that for the audience's sake, it would be helpful for me to tell you guys exactly what you should be expecting to hit the channel within the next month. Because I do plan a lot. I do look at future releases and attempt to figure out exactly what I'm going to cover. Not everything works out, obviously, and I try my best to cover a game that I think deserves coverage, but sometimes the cards just don't sort of, fall into place. But I wanted to give you guys an idea of exactly what I'm targeting for the month of August. So I'm going to make this video and show you exactly what I'm planning on target. Some games that you guys would probably recognize, some that you don't. Without further ado, let's get right to it. Now let's start with reviews. I am currently working on a review for Victor Vron. It is an action RPG, a little bit different from everything else. I know it came out a while ago. It was in early access that it just left, but I really want to take a look at the game from a critical design perspective and from a review perspective, because I did get a key for the sake of review in this question, so I do feel obligated to take a look at it. And the fact of the matter is, I do believe it's a good game. It's not for everyone though, and I think that's exactly why I want to cover it. You should see this coming in the next couple of days. If it's not the 31st, it'll be very shortly after at this point. I'm just playing through trying to finish the game. It is an action RPG, however, it is a little bit shorter in length from my understanding. Another game that is released that I want to take a look at is The Vanishing of Ethan Carter for the PS4. They updated it to the Unreal Engine 4, which is not a small feat in itself, but not only that, it is a game that I missed the first time around, and I did get a key from Evolve PR for it. I do admire Adrian Ramirez's work. He is a very good writer, a very good just sort of storyteller. He's made some great games in the past, and I really want to give this one a chance. It is a little bit different with it being sort of I don't want to say a walking simulator, but it's more so of an investigative, sort of a different kind of game, sort of a different kind of experience. Full review that I'm going to focus on the channel comes out on August 25th, and that is Until Dawn for the PS4. Now, I'm not a typical survival horror fan in terms of the new horror genre. Games like Resident Evil Revelations 2 don't do it for me. It's too action-based, too much of a feeling of you can defeat anything at this point. And with issues of control myself, the games like Resident Evil 4, I know that's an action-based one, but it still had those elements. And Eternal Darkness, Sancti's Requiem, I really do love those kind of games. And Until Dawn seems like it may be along that line. They have a butterfly effect system that can blur right and wrong decisions, and it is an interesting case of a multiple playthrough game that, from what I've seen in the trailers. So I am going to take a look at it. I don't have a review copy. I don't expect one in this case, but you never know. Alright, for the first impressions that I'm going to focus on, there are three in particular. There's Demon Hearts, which is a 2D platformer that comes out on August 7th. Look, I'm a platformer fan. I'm a Metroidvania fan. I am all things platformer and Metroidvania. This seems like to be a 2D platformer game. There's vampires. It's got an interesting aesthetic to it, and while it is a smaller game, I do like focusing on smaller games and ones that draw in my attention, and in particular, the aesthetic here drew my attention in with the different colors at this point. It may not be the greatest game, but, I love giving games like this a chance, because for every, game that, like the Asai Ninja, you get a game like Talamir, for example, which was definitely worth the price of admission. So, also in sort of the favorite genres of mine, you guys have seen a lot of shoot 'em ups here, but Griffin Knight Epic is a little bit different. It's a 2D medieval one. It mixes elements from classic shoot 'em ups and sort of like exploration and boss battles. It is an interesting aesthetic too, and again, when I take a look at games like this, I always get interested in the way that they sort of twist the formula. I do get a sort of a Castle Crashers vibe a little bit from it, just with the presentation. I know that seems weird. Castle Crashers is a lot different, but I do like the aesthetic, and I do like the fact that, I am a shoot 'em up fan. It looks interesting in terms of the trailer. I'll take a look at it. My final and first impressions that I'm targeting is for the game that comes out on August 20th of Shadowrun Hong Kong. Shadowrun is an RPG. It is an interesting, complex game, and honestly, I've been wanting something like this for a while at this point. If you haven't seen the Shadowrun series, I would advise you to take a look at this point. It is going to be an interesting one because, again, RPGs are really hard to not do a full review on, but I do want to sort of test it in the first impression sense because I do think RPGs in particular can get a certain impression, and it does have to draw you in a certain way. I always use Final Fantasy XIII as the example, a game that, I keep on being told that it takes 20 hours to get into. I don't have the time for that. I'm sorry. But let's see what Shadowrun Hong Kong does for me. As for my Let's Try series, there will be 4 games that I'm targeting at the moment. First is Adventure Lib. It's sort of like Mad Libs meet sort of a story-based game. It is an interesting where you basically hit a random button, anything can become anything. You could have a fire-breathing kitten, a beloved toilet, a potato of legend kind of things. I felt like those kind of games are very much a sort of visual experience, and it's something that I do want to take a look at, something out there a little bit, where the humor is definitely a core element of it, but whether or not it can keep it on multiple playthroughs, that's a big part of it. So that's one game that comes out on August 4th that I will be taking a look at. I do have the key for it already, so that's definitely a definite one. Hacknet comes out to the Steam store on August 12th. It is a immersive terminal-based hacking simulator. It seems like a really, really weird choice for a game. Now, you have to understand, part of the sort of draw in here is the fact that I'm a software engineer, a classically trained software engineer. I have a 4-year degree in it. And so when a game like this comes out, it just seems a little bit strange. And how do you make that into a game? I want to sort of explore how do you do it? Does it do it well? Is it understand the core elements of programming, the idea of hacking, things like that. It comes out on August 12th, and I will hopefully be taking a look at it. Actually, this is going to be a little bit different because it just came in my email now and I got interested in it. So I got a Steam key for this. Relic Hunter Zero is a free open source shooter that hits Steam August 18th, and I'll be definitely taking a look at it. It says it's a labor of love from the creators of Chroma Squad, which is a game that I thought was fantastic and still on my games to beat right now, which I never find time for. But not only that, the source code is available for it. And again, from a programming perspective, that's interesting. I may not just do a let's try for this. I may actually sort of dig into the source code because that is an interesting idea that if you have the source in question, that's cool. The fact that you can actually take a look at the game if you can understand it. Maybe I'll take a look and try to explain to people, hey, this is what goes into these games. This is what I see, what kind of standards, so on and so forth. All right, Party Hard comes out on August 25th. Honestly, the concept just sort of got me. It's the idea of it's 3 a.m., your neighbors are having a loud party, stop them, party hard, and just go on a massive, killing spree. I wasn't a partier in college. I'm not a partier at all at this point. I'm a more laid back kind of guy. And just sort of the premise of I had those nights where no one would shut up while I'm trying to study. All right. It does give my appeal in that sense. Comes out on August 25th. Hopefully I'll be taking a look at that. As for other types of videos on the channel that are not in those strict categories, X-Blades, I already teased that in sort of my giveaway video, but I will be doing something bigger on X-Blades. It will be not only a sort of an analytical piece, but it will be a humorous piece. Think something along the line of Pro Jared or, Peanut Butter Gamer. It will definitely have my own style to it. One of the things I've been trying to do is develop my own sort of repertoire or style, as it were. And I think X-Blades will be the sort of first attempt at making a huge video. I will be sort of pushing myself in terms of things like After Effects and things like that, in terms of enhancing the experience. That will hopefully come out in August. It is a big project that I'm taking on that I haven't done before. We'll see how it goes. Now, Onikira comes out on July 30th in terms of out of early access. I'm not sure if I'm going to cover it or not. I do want to. The thing is that what I'm seeing is performance problems when I try to get back into it, and I want to give it a chance to make its final update before, taking a critical look at it. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with it, but I may take a look at how early access has affected a game, because I do think early access is a weird sort of hindrance on sometimes to games. Sometimes it's helpful, but sometimes it can really hurt a game, not just from a perspective of sales, but more so from a perspective of game design. And I do want to take a look at Onikira to see how it was affected by it, because at the time I thought it was a promising early access game. I also want to do something with Freedom Planet, but I'm not exactly sure what yet. Freedom Planet is sort of a Sonic game of the new day. I sort of want to look at a design perspective of what Sonic the Hedgehog now has failed to understand well what Freedom Planet got right, and how Freedom Planet brought it to the new day in terms of its mechanics. The thing is that Freedom Planet is a game that I really enjoyed. I played through it. I have all the footage already of it. It's just a matter of I've actually struggled to actually bring a video together of it. I tried to do a review, and I felt like the review was, nothing that anybody else hadn't said at that point. I do want to take a look at a design level perspective, and most likely that will be a game design video. Now, everyone who has watched me on a regular basis probably knows that I work with TechRaptor, and I do articles for them and videos for them, and I will be continuing that. So you can always go subscribe to their channel. I'll put a link right around here. But some of the stuff that you should expect from the stuff that I'm working on TechRaptor. On August 1st, my Adventures of Pip review comes out. I would take a look at that. I did put a lot of effort into that. It is an interesting game. It's worth at least taking a look at the video for. I'm not going to spoil what the review and what I say about it is, but you should take a look. It's already out, but it may be a good chance to pick up an older game. The next game was a game that I actually wanted to challenge myself on in terms of what I wanted to do with it. It's the Reject Demon Toko Chapter 0 Prelude. It is a visual novel, and the thing is that I have not really, besides Long Live the Queen, which had an actual game element to it, I haven't really critically covered a visual novel, and I wanted to challenge myself to see whether or not I could be objective or, take a look at a game that may not have any gameplay elements, but definitely has maybe an engaging story. And it just looks so out there in terms of the way that it goes about things. I don't know. It drew my attention. I have the key. It will be my next probably video project for them if it's not something completely different, but take a look at that. Now, I have to request this key, but August 14th, Afterlife Empire comes out. Basically, you're a ghost in a cabin, or I'm sorry, not cabin, house, and basically you're sort of doing a simulator where you try to scare people and try to make the legend of your house grow without it calling in an exorcist, for example, or like too many people dying. It's done by the Fine Young Capitalists. They are somebody who pushes for more female representation in games in terms of more developers. They help, and I think they're the more positive side of the industry in that, where they actually try to bring new ideas and IP to the forefront. A lot of that content within Afterlife Empire in terms of the cash that they will earn from sales will be going to charity too, which is always enjoyable. Some of it will be going to the original creator, some will be going to the capitalists, but a good majority of it is going to a charity, which I always enjoy. I always like seeing game designers, especially put a love and effort into something and it, benefiting people. So, and as always with TechRaptor, I will be writing articles, news articles, and things like that for them. I haven't decided what maybe my fourth video piece for them will be for that month. It's sort of I decide when something comes up. And again, I always do news and editorials. You should always go follow them. I mean, it is a starting site. You are going to get unbiased coverage. You are going to get, truthful coverage in terms of, sort of not a slant or worry about, publishers or anybody pushing on that. I do think they are very up and coming. That's why I joined them and to try to help them out in their video coverage. I am the lead video editor there. And as I mentioned before, I've always thought maybe I should be moving all my stuff over there, considering, I am the lead video editor. I do like keeping both there, where they sort of feed off each other. And again, there are other people on that site that can definitely do videos, and I want to help them out too. So always take a look at TechRaptor, guys. I know I'm sort of shilling for them, but honestly, it is a respectable organization, that's for sure. And I mean, in the end, if you guys find games that you want coverage on, let me know. Let me know in the comments section below, in emails, in messages on Steam. If you haven't, already added me on Steam, you can find my Steam community ID is Dragnix. It is something that, I love talking to people about games. I know there are things that, I've said to people that I want to try to, co-op with them or, do, pieces of them. I'm very much a sort of hectic guy in terms of his sort of schedule, and once I get into a sort of a schedule phase, it's really hard to sort of get me out of it. So I know Captain Muffin Fluffy, I always get that name wrong, I think. I still am going to do that Nuclear Throne one with you. I don't like doing that in the middle of early access, so we will be doing that eventually. And again, if you want to play with me or anything like that, again, just give me a holler at that point, and I'll try to do something at this point. Again, it may take me some time, but this is a business that I'm attempting to run. Also, before I leave at this point, you should go check this channel out, Skilled. I do a podcast with him weekly, which we talk about a lot of the issues for the last week in terms of games, in terms of what stories are there. I do like having the conversation with him back and forth. He had approached me because of my sort of commitment to sort of detail and analysis. We do have a good back and forth at times, and although we may have different opinions on things, it is an interesting podcast all the time, at least in my opinion. So there have been moments where it is legitimate. It surprised me, like, oh wow, I didn't expect. I came up with something, or he came up with something that I never would have expected. So you should always go take a look at that. And again, I always want your feedback, guys. So I will see you all later. Thanks for watching, and just have fun. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you like this content and want to see more of it, you may want to hit that subscribe button on the left-hand side. If you like this video and want to see more of this content, take a look at this video on the left-hand side as well. And if you've missed my last video, take a look at the right-hand side. Once again, thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.